The clock behind me says it's 7 o'clock, and therefore we will begin the meeting of the Wellfleet Zoning Board of Appeals. We have one case, 1924 Westminster Apartments LLC, 1878 State Highway, Route 6, map 29, parcel 28, application for a special permit under section 6.1.5 to raise and replace an existing four-bedroom, two-family residential structure and replace with a new two-family residential structure. So we will begin.
Good evening, and
Oh, yeah, well, the board for this case will be Manny, Bruce, myself, Trevor, and Rita.
thank you. First of all, I do appreciate all of you coming out on such a beautiful, warm evening. For the record, I'm attorney Lesser J. Murphy Jr. from East Dennis. With me at the table is Ralph Wilkins, the principal owner, and Alan Cabral, who is the designer. And as indicated, this is an application by Westminster Apartments LLC for a special permit under section 6.1.5 of the Wellfleet zoning bylaws to raise and replace an existing four-bedroom duplex structure. And the replacement structure would be a slightly larger four-bedroom duplex structure at the 1878 State Highway property. This is the property that was the former Starfish complex, and it contains 4 residential structures with a total of 5 dwelling units. The lot itself is about 42,792 square feet. This particular building is approximately 70 years old and is in a very poor state of repair. 2 of the other structures on this lot back in 2004 were basically reconstructed or raised and replaced with the special permit issued by this board. The small cottage to the rear is, again, about a 70-year-old structure. And some of the board members may recall, I was before you back about 5 years ago regarding this property, trying to see if there was some way to effectively change the use to make it year-round. And we, board very carefully looked at it, consulted with town council, just determined at that point in time under the zoning bylaws that it wasn't possible. So we're not looking for any change in the use of the structure or the use of the property. What we're looking to do is basically to remove a rather old building in a poor state of repair and replace it with a new modular building that will be much more livable, much more attractive, much safer, but for the same use. So what we're looking at, the existing duplex structure is approximately 40 feet by 24 feet, its total footprint. The new building would be about 54 feet by 27.5 feet. So the present building square footage is about 980 square feet or 490 square feet per unit. And the building that we're proposing to replace it with would be a total of approximately 1,486 square feet, or about 743 square feet per unit. So it's a little bit over 250 square foot per unit increase. It's a modular design building, again, be much more attractive and functional. It will comply with all present-day health, safety, building, plumbing, electrical code requirements, and we believe it'll provide a much safer, more comfortable seasonal residential units. And I know the question came up about the building being larger than the older building it's replacing. But one of the things that you run into when you try to build nowadays, there is a lot of code requirements, whether it be health codes and determining minimum size of bedrooms, having to have closets, a lot of requirements that exist in the building code today that obviously didn't exist 70 years ago, that by their very nature require a somewhat larger structure to accommodate everything that's there. So, and on the other side of the coin, it will be certainly provide nicer units, more livable units than the 2 that are there now. But it will be no closer to Route 6 than the existing structure. No bedrooms are being added. Again, we're going from 4 bedrooms to 4 bedrooms, 2 dwelling units to 2 dwelling units. So there's no increase in the Title V septic flow, and the system is a Title V system, and there's no plans to replace it. Again, no increase in flow. And obviously, for the board to determine whether or not it's appropriate to grant the special permit for this particular change, alteration, basically a raise and replace. You have to look at a couple of sections of the bylaw, under section 8.4.2.1, and we did address those in the application, but again, I will try to address them in a little more detail. That looks at the suitability of the location for the proposal and looking at whether the nearby land uses are supported or damaged by this. And for the most part, the land uses nearby are residential. This is residential. Seasonal cottage colony will remain that use, which we believe is suitable for the neighborhood. So we don't anticipate any damage. In fact, we believe this will be a net benefit and enhancement to the neighborhood. Then the question is the adequacy of roads, drainage, and other public services. Clearly, Route 6 provides adequate access to the property. No changes to the drainage are proposed. C talks about the sensitivity of site to possible environmental damage. It's an already developed site, 4 buildings with 5 units, and that's exactly what will happen here. It's similar to what was done back 2003, 2004, when 2 of the buildings on the site were replaced. That, to our knowledge, didn't create any environmental damage, and we certainly don't expect that would be the case here. So we believe that under 8.4.2.1, the board can find that this meets those requirements. Under 8.4.2.2, again, we believe it meets the criteria. Whether the proposal contributes to diversity of services, or in this case, housing opportunities. It will continue to provide 1 year-round and 4 seasonal dwelling units. Major difference is 2 of those will be significantly upgraded and improved from what exists there now. If you've had a chance to take a look at the existing plans versus the proposed plans, there's really going to be a much nicer, more comfortable place to live for the summer. Ralph actually has these are rented out mostly to seasonal employees, and he's upgrading the seasonal employee housing availability, and we believe that's certainly will be significant benefit to the town, to local business people who have a hard time finding places for their employees to live for the summer. So again, we think it meets the first test of 8.4.2.2. On seasonal consequences, there's no change. We're going to have the 2 units with a total of 4 bedrooms. Nothing's going to change on the site. So by allowing this building to be rebuilt and improved, it really will have no negative impact, no seasonal consequences beyond what exists there today. As far as service to local in preference to regional markets and year-round in preference to seasonal, I wish we could say year-round, and we certainly, hopefully, maybe someday the planning board town will decide to modify how they address these, but right now this will continue to provide seasonal housing, just simply in better locations. And it talks about for residential developments, again, any contribution to year-round residents, and unfortunately we can't offer that as part of this proposal now. But we do believe, based upon the use and the restrictions that zoning places on that use, this will still be of benefit to the town. And then at 8.4.2.3 on the building and site design, we're going to remove a rather old, unattractive building. Hopefully it's certainly visible from Route 6, and we did submit pictures. And we think the building it's going to replace it with will be certainly more attractive than what's there now. Most of the parking on this site is located to the rear of the building, so again, trying to keep that away from view of Route 6, and there's no public access. So again, I know I've said it, and I'll just say it one more time, that we really believe that the replacement of this 70-year-old duplex building with a new, safer, more usable, more attractive structure meets the requirements of 8.4.2, and that its benefits to the neighborhood and the town outweigh any adverse effects. So again, there are many positive benefits to the town in providing upgraded seasonal living facilities, and we don't see any adverse impacts. Again, no increase in septic flow, no increase in parking requirements, just taking an old used building and replacing it with something new and much better, more attractive and safer. And Alan's here Ralph's here, certainly try to answer any questions that board members may have.
Thank you very much. I don't think I have any letters on this one. Nope. And does anyone in the audience want to speak to this before we go to the board? Would you go to the microphone? And Mary, you need to give us your name.
Mary Wright.
Very close.
Mary Wright. I'm in a butter, and I think it would be a real contribution to the neighborhood to have a new and better building there.
Good, thank you. Anybody else? I don't think there's anybody else left to speak, so.
Alfred, are you awake?
Yeah, he's just visiting, yeah. Okay, all right. Now, one of the things you mentioned that we don't have is any existing plans.
I believe they were submitted,
We have not been able to find anything that shows us the existing
Floor plan.
floor plan.
well, there was a whole set of, didn't the board get this set of plans? I can certainly share it with the board.
Get that down, you can put that one in.
Isn't that just the new dwelling? The proposed dwelling?
It's actually a set showing all of the structures. So, I'll share it with the board. This is the duplex.
We didn't get it.
You didn't get it?
We don't have that. So,
So we didn't get these
no.
pages.
And I can send this one down. This is the,
I think that's just the reduced version of that.
yeah, I think this is the reduced version of that.
Did you guys see that? Can you pass it?
We have the reduced version.
I wouldn't mind.
We only see this side. Okay. Yeah. Okay, many questions do you have then?
I think this will be a good thing for Wellfleet, and especially if it could be year-round at some point. I don't have any problems with it.
No, it's fine. This is actually, is under just a technical thing, 6.1.1, because there's nothing non-conforming about these structures. It's the use that's non-conforming. So, but, you know, the 6.1.1 gives us the authority to grant the special permit. I certainly would vote for it here. And then, my own opinion, I think I'm going to try to get business for you. If your clients who have an economic interest in year-round should get together with other cottage colony owners, hire you to do a petitioned article, because that's the only way it's going to get done. A lot of us have been talking about it for years, never gotten out of the talking stage, and I'd do a petitioned article if I were you, and I think it'd probably pass a town meeting.
So I thought maybe that's why Mr. Picard was here from the planning board
I was
to,
a supporter of this, but, you know, he's got to deal with others. But a lot of the things that have been accomplished in Wellfleet have been accomplished through petitioned articles.
Okay, great.
It's just the way it is.
I didn't notice that till just
No.
now.
But I think this is fine. It's a 70-year-old building, and no one ever replaces an existing building with a building of the same size. You know, just, it's always a little bigger, so that's okay.
Retha?
Sounds pretty good to me. I was curious about one thing, and it says there was only one bathroom in the duplex.
no, that's why and I do apologize, and I did forward the one floor plan. And if you look in there, I don't know where that came from. That's the assessor's records say there's one bathroom. But those plans, and actually the plans when I was here 5 years ago, dealing with this property, clearly showed that there are 2 bathrooms, 2 kitchens, 2 bathrums.
I would think so.
Yeah, they weren't that friendly.
I was going to say, those were very friendly renters, shared a bathroom. Rita, it does say, Trevor just pointed this out to me, it's very weird. It says on the assessor's card that it's a duplex, and then proceeds to say it has 1 bathroom.
Right.
Well, go ahead.
I'm glad that was not actually the case. And the seasonal rental period is from April 1st to November 30, is that?
I believe so. That's the times that you meant, yeah. Other than there is the one year-round residential unit on the site.
Okay. Okay, I have no objection to this.
Janet?
I don't have any questions. I was just going to say that I think it'll be more conforming to the definition of cottage colony because each unit isn't supposed to be less than 550 square feet, and currently they are, so that's a good thing.
Right, that's right. And they are going to be 743, and the maximum is 768, so you're within that as well.
I don't have any comments.
Okay. All right, and I don't either. Just think it's a very weird assessor's card. So this is the one that was built in 1950 or thereabouts. Yeah. Okay. Go to findings,
I'll move we close the hearing and go to findings.
right? So I have a second.
Second?
All right, all in favor? Okay, let's try these then. So I'm changing this to 6.1.1 now?
Yeah.
All right, why not?
Doesn't matter.
All right. Okay,
Just a technical
listen closely. This is an application under Wellfleet zoning bylaws 6.1.1 for a special permit to raise and replace an existing four-bedroom, two-family residential structure and replace it with a two-family residential structure. The lot is in the R1 district. The lot is 42,792 square feet, on which are presently situated 4 dwellings. The dwelling is entitled to treatment as a lawfully pre-existing non-conforming structure having been in existence for at least 10 years as provided for in the Wellfleet zoning bylaw 8.2.2. It's actually a non-conforming use, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a cottage colony.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
considered a non-conforming.
non-conforming
use.
structure, yeah.
But it's okay.
All right. The dwelling, which is in a lawfully pre-existing cottage colony, may be demolished and rebuilt pursuant to Wellfleet zoning bylaw 6.1.1. The ZBA has made a site inspection of the subject lot and has reviewed all documents submitted in support of the application. The new structure will contain 2 dwelling units of 743 square feet for each, for a total of 1,486 square feet. This represents a, do the math for me so I can fill this in now, increase in square footage,
About 250 square foot increase per
Okay.
unit.
square foot. And an increase of 1.2% in lot coverage from 6.4 to 7.6 over the existing unit. There will be no change in use. There will be no increase in use. The use conforms with the objectives of the R1 district as stated in Wellfleet zoning bylaw 3.2. There was 1 appearance in support of the application. There were no appearances or correspondence in opposition to the application. The roads, drainage, and other public services are adequate for the project. There will be I've already got that one, never mind. The alteration will not be more substantially detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing non-conforming use. After considering the district objectives for the zoning district as provided for in Wellfleet zoning bylaw 3.2 and the relevant criteria set forth in Wellfleet zoning bylaw 8.4.2, the board finds that the benefits of the proposal will outweigh any adverse effects on the town and the vicinity. The board has found that pursuant to Wellfleet zoning bylaw 8.4.2.3, scenic views from public ways and developed properties have been considerably treated. Reasonable efforts have been made to minimize visibility of parking and service areas from public roads. Traditional public access to or along the shoreline is not applicable to this proposal. After considering the district objectives for the zoning district as provided for in Wellfleet zoning bylaw 3.2 and the relevant criteria set forth in Wellfleet zoning bylaw 8.4.2, the board finds that the applicant has demonstrated that the benefits of the proposal will outweigh any adverse effects on the town and the vicinity after considering the district objectives and the relevant criteria. It's a little bit wordy there. And that's it. Anything else?
Okay. I'll move we accept the findings as written,
Second?
All in favor?
and based on the findings, I'll move that we grant the special permit.
Second?
All in favor? Okay, and stamp
Again.
plans.
Thank you all very much, and I do appreciate you all coming out on this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. This we stamp and we stamp with site.
Yes, we got the big bucks.
Do you want this,
I'm doing,
this thing with that?
I
the
need,
most important thing is we get back in time for the football game.
yes, everybody will get back in time for football. I need 3 of these for you
Yeah.
and 1 for them.
One goes to the applicant.
One goes-
and then Mary gets 2.
You have to stamp the
I
plan.
just stamp the top one and then.
It's not connected.
I get paid extra.
I know, I know. 10, 19,
Throw it out.
19. This is yours. Don't get away without it. This is your plans, and then after it's granted, what to do.
Thank you.
10, 10, 19.
Did a great job.
Thank you. 19. Done it with all the little people. I think we have minutes.
Oh, do we?
We do.
We have 3, you can't have 3 sets of minutes. July, August, and September, we did August.
Oh, I'm
I don't remember.
All right, we'll approve them again.
It's been quite a while.
well, that could be, but I'm
wait till
pretty
Chris
certain that we did minutes.
No, we'll do them all now. Yeah, we're getting rid of them. Okay, so we get rid of what you can. Okay, we can get rid of any of them as long
Well, I
as
think we have minutes from,
I know we have minutes from September. I thought we did August and
I'm
July.
pretty certain we did.
They were not posted?
how about I move we accept all minutes which have not heretofore been approved.
All right. And do I have a second? Manny seconds. And they were here for both of those. So then, all in favor?
Sure we did the other.
I am
others,
too.
yeah.
I wasn't here for September.
You weren't here for September, so but you can
No one-
always, you can vote on minutes, you can't move or second them.
Manny seconded.
But you can, and,
No one's ever appealed.
and Manny was here. How many are we getting there for that? So we've.
6.
7. Oh, 6.
6.
6. 6 unanimous.
I vote for proposal, we do this by acclamation. Then we move-
amended minutes, so they're somewhere.
I don't know what,
But you can vote on minutes if you don't,
most insignificant thing.
even if you're not here, you just can't move or second them. Is there any business? Do you have any business for us, sir? No, ma'am, not this time. Very good. All right. I don't think we do then.
Sorry, I missed that.
I'll move we adjourn.
All right. Do I have a second? All in favor?
That was unanimous. I knew it
Was
would.
unanimous as well.
Thank you, Mary.